Hey, how's it going? Um, I kind of wanted to do today with going into something that I feel like everybody else, deals with, but I don't know. The idea of weird, like, premonitionary dreams, or I don't even know if that's the right way to say that. Um, just like dreams that feel very real, and then you wake up, kind of, questioning whether or not it actually happened. And then sometime later in life, something along those lines or the exact thing actually happens. I don't know if this is something that's just happened to me, but I've had it happen a lot of times in the past, well, my entire life essentially. Um, but I've only noticed recently uh, these things happening because a few years ago I started like writing down like dreams and whatnot that I have uh, in as best detail as I can. Just because I was told that keeping a dream journal should help, you know, kind of organize my, mental state just a little bit. It should, help things in a couple of different ways. Kind of help understand who I am. Um, and there was a dream that I wrote down. Uh, essentially, there was a lot of them, but there was a lot of them that were like, okay, this could possibly happen. This is in the realm of something that could possibly happen. Um, and there was one that was essentially like I had when I was like super young, but it was around the time that I was still kind of like recording my memory and my dreams and everything like that. And it happened a couple of weeks ago. Um, like the actual event, which was really weird because in the moment, like you get those kind of like deja vu things where like I've seen this before very clearly. Um, it wasn't the same as how deja vu usually feels. It was like, okay, I've seen this before, but I've also written this down somewhere. So I started kind of digging through a lot of like my really, really old notebooks and everything like that. And yeah, I kind of found it. And it was essentially, uh, I don't have it with me at the moment. If I did, I'd reference it. But I was essentially like reading it, and it was from what I remember, the dream was basically I'm just standing like in an area of the living room, like this specific house or apartment, whatever. And I'm talking to Lily, but in the dream, I didn't have a face to who it was. So I was just essentially talking to somebody. I don't really know what was being said because it's not something I wrote down for some reason. I just didn't remember when I woke up. But essentially, like, I know that there was a context to it that I was able to write down. And essentially, it was in that current moment, I was bringing up a few things about, a business that I had just started and, how I finally have things planned out for the future, where I want to be in life. And it was an interesting thing because at the very, like, end of that conversation, I had this, like, this, this ting moment in my head that was just like, I've seen this before, and I know that I have. I need to understand why. Like, not only do I remember seeing this moment, I remember writing it down somewhere. So I told Lily, that I had this like deja vu moment, and whatnot, and we kind of moved on from it. Most of the time, deja vu is just it's not really anything too impressive, in my opinion. There's sometimes things that are just they don't mean much. Um, but this one was a little different because I was able to actually write it down, and I don't know how these premonitionary dreams work, or premonition dreams, but I know that I've had a lot more than just the one. I'm not sure if it's like you have these dreams, and then because you've had these dreams specifically, it essentially lays out a path for you to essentially make said dream a reality unconsciously. Or is it that you actually have some mild understanding of what could possibly happen in the future? I don't necessarily believe in that kind of thing, but it's a neat thought, you know? Um, the idea that in some small way or another, we're able to kind of, sort of predict our own future. I'm not saying that that's the entire, truth to it, but I'm saying it's an interesting idea, something we might be able to take advantage of if, it wasn't invasive or anything like that, but, who the hell knows. Um, I don't know. I just think it would be a neat thought. Um, I know me kind of talking about that, the whole thing is, it's probably a pretty lame topic, but I mean, at least I have a specific topic I'm talking about. Um, yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was interesting, and I figured I haven't uploaded in a day or two, so what the hell, right? Um, I I was able to talk with my mentor yesterday over our like messaging app kind of thing, and a couple of interesting things uh, we talked about. Not a whole lot that I can actually convey, but essentially, I'm happy that he's happy for me to be on the right path. That things are, if not slowly, coming into play. Or falling into play. If that makes sense. They're working out the way I'm kind of conveying that I want them to. I 100% could be putting a hell of a lot more effort into every little bit of thing that I do in my life. I just don't know how. Um, there's one thing that I, used to talk about a lot. How I used to go out, or, well, I still do, but not as often. I would go out and do, just like walking around and everything like that, and I would try to get, conversations with people. And I think part of the issue with that with me is I have to change my intention with it. I'm not I'm not necessarily focused on the right thing when I'm going out and trying to have these conversations. Um, I think a little part of me is more thinking of uh, numbers instead of I can help these people. So, yeah. Um, I do need to try to, shift my perspective and, uh, figure out how I'm going to go about this a little better. I've been listening to, like, a lot of, like, audio, just like recordings from, people above me who've already, been able to achieve what I'm trying to, and a couple of different audiobooks and whatnot that are suggested by the the business and whatnot, people in business. Right now, I'm listening to "As a Man Thinketh" again, and it's a good one. I feel like it's something I might need a little more practice in. Um, like just changing my thought life a little better. Trying to be a little more open with people. That's another book that I got to get back to again. Um, they have an entire fucking book list of so many like suggestions and whatnot. Things that'll like help for specific things or whatever. And yeah, I've been recommended a couple of them. Um, I have a small list, kind of just nailed to my little nail board or tack board, whatever the hell you want to call it. Um, but yeah, I've been reading a couple of different books, and yeah, I'm happy with what I'm learning from them. But I don't think I'm learning 100% of the lesson from just one time reading. I read when I first started this whole thing. They basically told me, read this book, and it'll give you an idea as to an interesting thing that we kind of use to compare and whatnot. Um, and it was called "Who Moved My Cheese," and it's a really good book. I honestly like it. It's really short. It's got really strong messages in it. Examples of how certain people think and how like ways to like succeed in life without really giving you a whole lot like of specific example. They tend to keep like the whole thing pretty vague. Um, Essentially, it's just like uh, these mice are essentially just like in this maze trying to find cheese, and then there's these not so mice, I guess, that are a little more stubborn. The mice are pretty, like instinctual. They'll like, move 100% on instinct. Okay, things over here, are the source of cheese in this side of the maze is, getting low. We're gonna move on to another place that might have more, so that you know we don't starve. Um, and then the not so mice are they essentially find this stockpile, and they're like, oh, hey, we're just gonna live here. There's so much cheese, we'll live for pretty much a long time on this. We don't have to worry about it. They build houses there and everything like that, and then it starts to disappear, because they're eating it all the time. And one of them is, you know, convinced that he's owed something, and that the cheese will just magically come back one day, and the other is not so convinced and is starting to question why the mice haven't showed up again. So he decides eventually to follow on with them, and yeah, it's an interesting little book, and I honestly really love it. I have it around here somewhere. I just don't remember where I put it. Um, but yeah, every once in a while I'll go back and read that one too, to kind of just give me a little bit of like excitement, I guess. Not excitement, maybe to kind of hype myself up, make sure I'm more the mice than I am the not so people. But yeah, that's essentially what I've been doing for these past couple of days. Um, Mostly just reacting to a premonition dream, and uh, reading books and trying to work on myself a little more. Waiting for either a specific time to receive or give a call to the company that I was told that I am supposed to be hearing from HR sometime soon, hopefully. But I'm not sure if it's something I need to call them about, because they made it seem very clear that they were going to contact me, or that HR was going to contact me. Um, so, yeah. Still in the process of looking for other jobs as well, just in case this one doesn't work out so well. Always have a backup, you know. Got to be prepared just in case something happens. I don't want to make the same mistake twice. But yeah, uh, with all that, I suppose if you like whatever it is I do, you know, like the video, show me that you support it. I guess by subscribing, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Peace.